Hey breakcolders, if you're watching this video, it probably means you want a CRM that works for you, not against you. At Breakcold, we have multiple hundreds of customers that migrated from all the CRMs on the market to have a better CRM life for themselves and for the sales team. My goal is that by the end of this video, you have a CRM that is running on autopilot so that you can focus on the most important thing, which is to chat with your prospects and your customers and nothing else. The content of this video is the equivalent of hiring a CRM consultant, but without the costs. And the best part about it is that you can also book a one-on-one call with me so that we can make sure together you all set up. To book that call, you can click on this button right here. And if at any moment you have a problem, you can click on chat with us so that the team can help you out. This video is quite long, but you need to consider it as an upgrade in your skills. The time you'll get back by implementing those skills will save you at least the cost of a full-time employee every month. So treat this as an investment rather than a core. With that being said, let's dive into this Breakcold CRM masterclass. So the first thing you have to do when you arrive inside Breakcold is to download the Chrome extension. The Chrome extension is used to add contacts from LinkedIn, Gmail, and other platforms. I will show you how to use it later in the video, but for now, just do it straight away when you start with Breakcold. All right, so the next step is to connect your email and social accounts. As you know, Breakcold is the only sales CRM out there that is able to connect not only to your email and meetings, but also to your LinkedIn conversations, Telegram conversations, and WhatsApp conversations in one place, which is not the case with traditional CRMs. And because of that, you don't have a single source of truth because in the end, like if you're talking in a multi-channel way with your prospects and customers, it's not synced. So AI or not, if you don't have all the information about your conversations with prospects, it will not be possible to move deals automatically in the CRM and to perform other actions. To connect those accounts, you will click on the inbox here and you will click on connect a channel. Then you will go with Google or Outlook, depending on what you're using. So me, I will go with Google. And here you're going to select import the last 12 months. You want as much as data as possible. You're going to click on next. And here you're going to tick calendar. If you don't tick calendar, it will not synchronize with your calendar events. And it will also prevent to create automatically contacts from your future meetings. So this is something you want to take for sure. Then you're going to click on next. And here, this is where you can share your account if you have different teammates. So here I have no one yet in this workspace. The goal is to show you how it works. So we'll see that later on. So here you just say, no, this is a private account. So now the email account is connected. And if we go in there, we can see that the conversations, they are currently syncing, which is normal. It can take from 1 hour up to 24 hours if you have like lots of conversations. Usually just take 30 minutes up to 2 hours. So now we're going to connect the LinkedIn account. And so now you can see that if I click on back to Workspace and I go to meetings, all my calendar and my 30 meetings are already synced in the CRM and ready to be recorded by the CRM. And also if we go in the inbox, the conversation are being pulled out. So yeah, now we have to wait. So now if we go back to settings and we go again to account, let's connect the other three channels. We're going to first start with LinkedIn. So if we start with LinkedIn, here it's the same. You're going to click on import last 12 months. Here, the same. You click no, this is a private account. You click on connect. It will take you to this page where you will have to put your credit. And when it comes to the optional settings, here you don't want to change anything unless you know what you are doing, because basically this is more for advanced people who might be using their own proxy. But if you don't know what it is, you do not want to touch it. So here you don't click on optional settings. You just connect your account and that's it. So here it's asking me to confirm on my mobile, and that's it. The account is connected. So sometimes it can take a bit of time. I think there was like 5 seconds between the time I accepted and the account being connected. So now return to settings. And pretty much like before, now the messages are starting to be synced in the CRM. When it comes to LinkedIn, a question we get sometimes is it safe? And the answer is yes, Breakcold is safe, mostly because it's not a LinkedIn automation software. And for your knowledge as well, you have to know that LinkedIn actually doesn't know if you're using a tool or not. What they actually know is that they are able to detect patterns. And so even if you're not using any tools related to LinkedIn, you can get flagged and get banned if you have a robotic actions. So essentially what you have to remember is that you want to act like a human, meaning that you can connect your LinkedIn account to Breakcold, but if at the same time you have your employee managing your DMs and at the same time you're liking and commenting posts on LinkedIn, it just doesn't make any sense. So if you have someone managing your account for you, or if you are managing accounts for other people, you just need to think about basic rules so that you don't do something that is technically impossible for human. So now we're going to connect the WhatsApp account. So I'm going to click here on connect. As usual, I'm going to click on import the last 12 months and I'm going to go with connect straight away. It will take me to that page where you simply need to take your phone and scan the WhatsApp QR code. So you will go inside WhatsApp and just follow the instructions, basically going to the menu, or you can also just like scan the QR code straight away if you don't want to go to the settings. Then it will take you to the right settings inside WhatsApp and boom, you are done. So now you click on return to settings and now we have WhatsApp connected and we're going to do the last account, which is Telegram. So when you will click on Telegram, it might tell you to add a slot, so to pay. The thing about this is that during the free trial, you can add as many members as you want and as many accounts as you want for free. So don't bother. You can just go in the usage and billing right there and just increase the quantity. You will not be charged during the free trial. I repeat, you will not be charged. So if you want to connect multiple accounts, you can just go with it. And so let's connect Telegram together. So for Telegram, this is the same process as usual. So you can click here on import the last 12 months in history. You're going to click on connect. And here it will ask you for your double authentication password. Um, the thing with this is that if you are putting the wrong authentication password, we will not know it and it will pretend it worked and actually didn't. And so we had many issues in the past where people thought it was actually a bug and it's not. It's because they don't know the actual 2FA password. So I would strongly suggest to validate that you know your 2FA password. Otherwise, it would just not work. When it comes to the settings, I will not suggest you to modify it. And so let's just go with the basic template. And so once you've put your 2FA password, you're just going to do the same as you did for WhatsApp, which is to go on Telegram and go in the settings and to connect the device. So here I'm going to click on add a new device. I'm going to scan the code and just wait for it to be connected. All right, your account is connected. So now we can go back to Breakcold. All right, we now have our free accounts connected. And so now if I go to the inbox of Breakcold, we can see that in the inbox, all the conversations are started to sync already. And so we can see that WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, and email are still syncing. And so like I told you already, you will have to wait between 30 minutes up to multiple hours for everything to be properly synced, which is totally normal. If for whatever reason it fails, one of the solutions is usually to go back in the account. So here I'm going to go, for example, in the LinkedIn account. And you see here, you have this button, force resync. So if it doesn't work after 12, 24 hours, you can first contact the support, but also just click on that button, force resync, because in 90% of the cases, it just solves the problem. Now I'm going to show you how to connect Breakcold to an AI agent platform, and we're going to use Claude. What you have to know is that Breakcold has the most open CRM MCP on the market, which basically means that in terms of connectivity to different AI platforms such as Claude, ChatGPT, Codex, OpenClaw, Hermes, it's pretty much the best out there. And I know it sounds crazy compared to like the big CRMs like HubSpot, but it's the most open, and basically you can do whatever you want. So here I will show you how to do it with Claude, but again, it can work with many different types of AI platforms. And so as you all know, Claude is pretty good when it comes to only email because it's already by default can connect to email. But it's not enough to have a single source of truth and to be able to be a proper CRM. So Claude alone is just an email inbox, and a CRM with Claude is basically a whole pipeline because it connects to everything and you can control and automate the CRM using Claude. Now the question will be why you don't do it from the CRM, why you don't do it from Breakcold. The thing is that we do it, but we don't think people are prepared to pay for it. What I mean by this is that OpenAI and Anthropic through Claude, they've built, those little subscriptions where you have insane amount of limits when it comes to AI usage. And actually, for a CRM, whether it's Breakcold, whether it's HubSpot, whether it's any other CRMs, having it built in is can be like from 3 to 10 to 15x what you could get with a subscription with an AI platform. So technically, yes, you can do it from Breakcold and it's no problem. But if you want to leverage Claude because you're already using Claude and also you want to minimize costs, which is always something important for your business, you might prefer here to use Claude. So I would just go with the direction that people tend to use these days. So that's why I'm presenting you how to connect it to Claude and to automate the CRM using Claude. So for this video and also for you in general, for your Claude usage, I would strongly suggest you to download the desktop app. So if you're using it on your browser, you will go here, bottom left, you're going to click here and you're going to download the desktop app for Mac if you have a Mac or like another version. So once you've downloaded the Claude app, what you're going to do in Breakcold is to go to your settings right here. You're going to click on MCP and API. And right there, you're going to click on View MCP Setup and you're going to select Claude. Again, if you're using something else, by the time you're watching this video, you might have ChatGPT, OpenClaw, and all the other AI platforms. But here we're going to go with Claude. And right there, you're going to like copy the MCP server URL. So you're going to copy this. And now we will go to the Claude application. So inside Claude, you're going to go to Customize right there. Then you're going to click on Connectors. And inside Connectors, you have a plus. You're going to click on the plus and you're going to click on Add Custom Connector. This is where you're going to type Breakcold. Then you're going to paste the URL you just copied and you're going to click on Add. I won't do it because I've already done it. And right there, this is what you will get the first time. And here you will have a button that will say probably needs approval. I would strongly suggest you to click here and say always allow, because from there you will not have to click every single time to allow actions in the CRM. And because we don't have actions to delete anything, you will be safe when it comes to your data. So you can just go with always allow right here. Now you need to install the Claude Breakcold skill. So you will have to go to the skills section here. And if I have to explain to you what it is, it's basically a skill that has been built by our team so that you can leverage the power of Breakcold in a much better way than if you don't have this installed. So to install this Breakcold CRM skill, you will go to the link in the description and then you will go to skills. And here you have like Breakcold CRM and you will go to Claude. And I think the link will put you straight away here. And here you have Breakcold CRM skill. And here you can click on download raw file. So you're going to do this. Once you have the file inside the skills section of Claude, you're going to click on here, create skill and upload a skill. And from there, you will just upload the skills that you just downloaded. And that would be it. Me, I already have it. All right, so before showing you how to automate the CRM, I need to show you when to use a sales CRM, specifically Breakcold. I think a big misconception that people have is that they think they can use the CRM for everything, which is not true. So where does your sales CRM should fit in your sales stack? So you see right here, we can split prospecting in multiple phases. We can have outbound, inbound, and conversion, retention, and expansion. If we talk about outbound first, you can see that there's no CRM right there. There's no Breakcold. When it comes to outbound, so working on your cold leads, you can have cold DMing using a LinkedIn outreach tool or a multi-channel one. You can also use cold emailing with tools like Instantly, Smartly, Lemlist, Salesforce. And then you have cold calling. And usually when it comes to the prospecting, like to your funnel, whatever industry you're in, you want to use a dedicated tool for sales prospecting. There's only one exception where you use the sales CRM for cold outbound. And this is if you're selling a very high ticket product or service, then in those scenarios, you'll use your CRM for outbound too. Why? Because your leads need extreme care, you have long sales cycle, you need highly relevant and personalized touch points. In that case, it's okay to use your CRM from the get-go for your cold leads. So typically, we have customers selling big packages like 5K, 10K per month, or otherwise like 200K one time. They will use the CRM from the very beginning for the leads. Otherwise, in most scenarios, I would strongly suggest you to use one of those tools for prospecting. So in your sales stack in general, you should always have one of those tools for outbound, and then it will connect to the CRM, because once you will have a positive reply, the workflow is always the same. You do prospecting with one of those tools, like let's say Lemlist, then you have a positive reply, it goes to the CRM. And then it's the same for inbound. Maybe you're doing content using LinkedIn, maybe you're doing content using X, maybe you have a website, and because of the traffic you are generating on this website, you are collecting leads using a website form, and this is a form of inbound. And so, regardless, you are generating like minimum qualified leads. And so, here you have your positive replies from prospecting, you have your qualified leads who filled a website form, qualified leads who found you through online content. And from there are warm leads. And this is where everything gets channeled in the CRM. This is where kind of the CRM moment starts. And this is where the CRM should fit in your sales stack. So everything can start with another tool, usually for prospecting, if we're talking about sales CRM. But in the end, it ends like the nurturing all the way up to the closing and the retention expansion of your customers as well as prospects in a way goes with the CRM. And so the goal here in this video is that using Breakcold AI, or not the AI features, by the way, like we will automate a lot of admin tasks so that you just focus on selling by doing more convos. So we are one step away of me showing you how to set up an excellent CRM system so that you can close more deals. But if we analyze the best results of our customers, at least the ones who accepted to share publicly the results, not bigger sales team that don't want some things to be known sometimes. Like what you would notice with those agency owners, startup founders, etc., is that our best customers, the things they have all in common is that they are super consistent when it comes to getting the CRM tasks done. And they also have a very simple process. And so if you want to have exceptional results, whether it's for you as a solopreneur, an agency, or a startup sales team, you need to really stick to this video in the sense that I will try to aggregate all the knowledge I got from all our different customers in terms of processes so that you have something, I would say, very stupid, but you just need to follow it and execute and you will get results. So with that being said, let me show you how to really leverage Breakcold now. All right, so it's time now to import contacts in the CRM. So by default, if you go to the people section, you will see that just by the fact that you connected your email account, it will sync with your future meetings and it will start to create companies and people automatically. So every single time you have like new meetings, it will just add the contacts if they are not in the CRM already. But as you can see, it's not enough. We want much more people than that. And a misconception that people have is that just by plugging the LinkedIn account, WhatsApp, etc., it will magically make all the leads appear. There's actually a way to do that using Claude. But first, I want to focus on all the ways on how you can add people to the CRM, whether it's manually, automatically, and also using AI. So first, if we go to LinkedIn, for example, using the Chrome extension, you can add people to the CRM pretty easily. Just in one click, it will start to pull out all the information about the person. And here we will just click on create record. And so when you click on create record, what is happening is that Breakcold is do auto enrichment on the person. And so it will start to get many informations about the company, etc. Now, if we go back to Breakcold, we can see that the company and the person have been created. The company also has been enriched with the description and lots more information that we'll talk about when we will cover CRM data enrichment. So that is the first way to add people to the CRM. Another way is to do it from the inbox inside the CRM. So right now, the email conversations are still being synced. So I will just show you that using LinkedIn. But if we go, for example, to this guy right there, like we know that it's not in the CRM yet. And so if I click on participant here, you have this button linked to another record. And here, if I click here, create as a person, boom, in very very fast, you can create the person in the CRM. And now if I go back to people, you see I have it, the last interaction is synced. And that's pretty much how you can add people from the inbox. So you can do it very rapidly. And I'm saying that because the more you will have people in the CRM, the more it will be easy in just one click to say, oh, show me only my conversations with people in the CRM. And then boom, you can filter all your convos versus only the people in the CRM, which can be useful to add people or just focus on other convos and just go back in the CRM. And so, yeah, this is pretty useful on a day-to-day basis. And the Chrome extension is actually one of the most used thing on a day-to-day basis. But the first time you're probably migrating from another CRM and you have a lots of data to migrate potentially. So what you can do is you can also do a CSV import. So if we go together and click here on import a CSV, we're going to pick a CSV here. I will go with a small data, but you can do that on like hundreds, thousands of leads pretty easily. And so what you are able to do here is that at the same time, you can migrate all your data from your previous CRM, whether it's like a proper CRM like HubSpot or a Notion or a spreadsheet. And the cool thing about it is that it will create companies, people, and deals at the same time if you need to map different things. So here I have some fields have been pre-mapped. And so if we recheck, I have the name of the person that has been taken, that is mapped, the company name, and a lots of data, as you can see. So your goal is simply to map what is relevant. So if it's a person data, you will select one of those things here. If it's a data related to the company, you can map it. And if you had previous sales pipeline stages from your previous CRM, you will click on deals, then you will click on pipeline stage, and that would be how you would do it. So here I will simply not do it for the sake of the example. What I want to show you here in this CSV import is how powerful it is to enrich data for free in the CRM if you have some infos like the LinkedIn URL of your prospects. So here I'm going to keep nothing. I will just delete every single data except the email address and the LinkedIn URL of the person, and I will delete all the other data. So we can see here that if I go and continue, I have an invalid row. So I'm going to click on skip on this one. And you see, I just have emails and LinkedIn's. That's just the data I have, which is nothing. I could have mapped those data, but what is cool is that with from just a LinkedIn URL, we're able to enrich a lots of informations. So here I'm going to click on Start Import, and you see it started to create the different people here. And now if I go back to the people section, you can see that live, the data are enriching and all the cross-channel conversations via email, LinkedIn, and other socials are syncing at the moment. And so, yeah, that's how powerful the CRM is. It's able to, just from a LinkedIn URL, enrich for free 50 plus data points on the person and also on the companies. So if you have a CSV where you already have the LinkedIn URLs of your prospects, this is a good way. If you don't have the LinkedIn URL, it's totally fine. You can just map the data like I showed you before. So here the enriching is still processing on some leads, so we'll just wait for it to finish. Something I forgot to say during the CSV import is that if there's a field that doesn't exist, that you cannot map it, you can click here on create new attribute, create new field, and you can just create the field linked to that. So for example, if we go to V1 ID, it doesn't exist in the CRM. So you can click on create new attribute and automatically you see it create the right type. So if it's a date, it will be a date, etc. And it puts the name and you can create it. So just a quick tip here. Another way to import your leads is to go to Claude and ask Claude to just analyze all the conversations like email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Telegram that are synced inside Breakcold. And from there, if there's like a proper intent, it will create the contact in the CRM. However, this is very time consuming for the AI to do. So that's why I think the best way is to go with a CSV if you already have the data. If you are interested in this Claude workflow to import the leads by reading your conversations, you can go to that video so that you can see that completely. All right, so it's now time to talk about CRM strategy and CRM organization. So by default, we already created a bunch of fields for you in the CRM, but the most important thing is that you need to understand how everything works. So even if you're asking Claude or another AI to reorganize the CRM for you, which is totally possible, I'm going to show you how to do it soon. Like you still need to understand the fundamentals. And so instead of trying to explain and make it a bit complicated, we're going to do proper setup together so you can see how to set that up. So the first thing is people section. So in the people section, by default, you have all people, last interaction 7+ days, and 0 conversations. So for example, if I click on last interaction 7+ days, we can see that there's a bunch of filters here. It's basically conditions. So here, this view, we call it a view, not a list, is if the last interaction is more than 7 days, that there's no tasks linked to that contact, and that the last interaction is less than 30 days, then every person, every people filling those conditions will go there. And so you see, automatically, this list will get updated by itself. So this is something that you can do and that can be like super easy. So if we create another one together, we can say, oh, I just want the people um, to that I need to follow up if it has been more than 3 days. So we can call it like, for example, to follow up. And by the way, again, like I'm doing this manually, but you can ask Claude or another AI to do it for you. Here, I just want you to really understand the concept and what you can do. So here, I'm going to go with to follow up. We're going to create the view. So this is the view basically. And here, we're going to make a filter and say, okay, last interaction is more than 3 days. And just by that, if it has been more than 3 days, you see I have all the people where it's been more than 3 days for the last interaction. And so if I send a message to those people, like it will not fit the conditions anymore. So they will just disappear. So this is a way to create a list that gets updated automatically super easily, and you can make this actionable. So here actually we're going to keep this one, and let's just imagine we want to be like extremely aggressive with everyone. So we want that every 2 days, if we want to have something of a view to always stay top of mind on some prospects. So we'll go with 2 days here because we want to be like extremely aggressive. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on here on add to favorites, because you can customize on the left what is important for you. So here I'm going to do a list for follow-up. Then we have, I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to click on delete. And right there, we have 0 conversations. So here, I would say that if the last interaction is empty, meaning if there's no conversations, people will go here. And you see here, I have 0 conversations with those people. And so it will be a way for us to know the people we need to start conversations with. And once you've made your filters so that it will get updated automatically, you're going to click here on save. So now we have all the people. We have all the people with whom we have 0 conversations. We have all the people that we need to follow up. So now this is pretty much it for now. So now we're going to focus on companies. So inside companies, by default, you have all your companies, and you also have the companies with whom you have no active deals, meaning that if there's a deal, they will disappear automatically from this view. And if they don't, they will be here. So here I'm just going to put that as a favorite, because when you create a deal, you want this to be accessible pretty quickly, and creating the deal from the company makes much more sense because the company is connected to all the individuals. So now the big talk, which is the deals section. And so in the deal section, by default, you have your pipeline. You can create multiple pipeline. We will talk about it after. But by default, what we suggest in terms of CRM strategy is, again, to keep things very simple. And so that's why what I want to convey in this video is to have a bunch of different views inside people. We still have more views to add, so stick with me here. Um, Also a bunch of views in companies, but mainly they will be list view, meaning you don't want to think in terms of like pipeline stages. The only place where we want to think in terms of like Kanban pipeline stages is inside the deals. Why is that? Is because inside the deals, we want everything will be linked together. So people and companies will be linked to a deal. And so whether it's for you or for your AI, it will be easier to move deals automatically if everything is linked together. And one of the biggest mistake that people tend to do is to try to create too many pipelines for too many things. I think you don't need that, except if you have very different lines of business units. Otherwise, one pipeline is usually enough. So usually you want your pipeline to go from target identify, which is the template you have by default, all the way until the deal is won, that there's a referral ask, and you also want to have some stages for lost and not fit. And so if you want to modify all of this, you can just click here on manage stages, and right there you can manage everything. You can manage the order, you can create new pipeline stages. So you just type and you add and you reorder. So that is one way to pretty much reorganize the whole pipeline stages. But what you can also do is here you see you have display, and in display I can click on no grouping, and here if I click on generate with AI, we can go with something new here. So I can go with make me a sales pipeline for a real estate agency. And now we're going to click on generate and see what happens. And so you see here, it just created me like a bunch of new pipeline stages adapted to the reality of a real estate agent. And here I can just click on apply stages, and it will start to create everything one by one. And once it's done, you click on done right there, and there you go. And this is basically here. And so this is basically how you can create another pipeline stage. For example, here I would just go back to the default one, and I'm going to click save again. And so if I continue to present how it's organized by default, you have basically here a list of all your deals. And so right now it's a bit empty. So let's create our first deal together. Again, we're going to do it manually, and then I will show you how you can do it automatically. So first, if we do it manually, I will go to no active deals here that we just put as a favorite, remember? And then I will go to this company here, and I will click on create new deal, and I would put let's say in like conversation started, and the source of the deal, we're going to say it's LinkedIn. So this is just for the example, then we're going to do like an actual thing. And so now the deal has created, so it disappeared from that list because again, I told you if it's only the companies with no deals, and now we have a company with a deal. If I go to the deal section, you see we have our deal here. And so now we can see that we have our deal right there. We're gonna just add the contact that was originally in it as well. And so here we have our deal. So we can say, oh, the deal value is that much. And but as you can see, it's quite manual. So I will show you how to automate it. But just to finish first, here you can also customize the display of the pipeline cards. So you can say, oh, I don't want to see this. 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 I want to keep it very minimal. And so you can reorganize everything inside those pipeline cards to your liking so that you can pretty much make it the best way possible. So here again, I'm going to click on save. Once you do your changes, always put save. And so if I click here, this is the pipeline view. If I click here, this is the list view with all the deals. So if you want to see it in a different way, and here by default, you have stalled deals for more than 30 days, meaning you see there's a filter that say if a deal is spending more than 30 days in a stage, you will see here the deal just arrived. So that's why it's not here. As you can see here, the deal's been in the stage for less than 1 minute. What you can also notice is that the deal of the name is not editable. So if you try to edit the name, it will just not work. What is happening here is that the deal name is computed automatically. So if I click here, there's actually a formula that you can edit. And so basically the formula right now is the deal name equals the word subscription plus the company name. So here we're just going to rename it deal, for example. And you can do the same, adapt it to your business, and click on apply. And so on the CRM, you will see that you can automate lots of fields just by asking AI. So for example, you can say, oh, the D name is always deal plus company name. And then you can click on generate, and the formula will make itself, and you can automate a bunch of fields, for example, the deal value. We're going to talk about this later in the video. And so what we're going to do right now is that we're going to put this deal as one, and we're going to head over to the people section to continue the setup. So if I go to people, like all the views we have at the moment, it's views that gets updated automatically because it's based on the last interaction with the leads, etc., which is awesome. But what if you want to create like proper lists where you decide where the people goes? And so, for example, if I go to create a new view here, I'm going to call it customers. And remember, we just had a deal that has been won. So we're going to do something with it. So here I created my view. This is called customers. I can reorganize the order. I'm going to put it here. And in the filter, like you can make conditions based on other things. So I can say, okay, my customers are basically where I want to deal, right? So the person linked to a deal where the pipeline stage is, let's say, one. This is my customers, right? And so here I click on apply, and I have Florian. And so this is how you can create a list that, again, will get updated automatically. Every single time you have a customer that a deal won, it will go there. So here I can click on save. I can also put that as a favorite if I want. And that's pretty much how you can set that up. So once you get this concept, it's pretty easy to do everything you want. And so now if we continue in terms of the setup, like for people, what we tend to suggest is to not go beyond this, except if you want to categorize people into a particular manner. So let's assume here, like you want to separate startups from, I don't know, like agencies. So we're going to create a custom field. So we're going to head over to the settings. We're going to go to records. And inside records, you have people. So I'm going to go with people here. And here we are inside all the records. So you can customize everything here. And I'm going to create something that I will call a type. So we want to categorize people in some sort of a tag, let's say. So I'm going to go with multi-select so that there's multiple options in how people can be categorized. And here I'm going to click on next. And in terms of options, here I would say, oh, I want this to be asked every single time I'm creating someone. So I would say show in the create form. And I'm going to click on next. And here I'm going to say, okay, so agency founder, then I'm going to go with like startup founder, and we're going to click on done. And we're going to move that all the way up so that it's quite high in the hierarchy. And we're going to put it right there. And so if we go back now to the people section, we're going to see that here we have our type. So here we can decide manually to do it. Again, I'm going to show you how to automate it after. I just want you to properly understand first how it works. And then here, I'm going to click on, oh, actually, this guy is a founder. And oh, actually, all of those people, I can select those in bulk and say, okay, bulk edits. And I want to bulk edit that all those people actually, they are agency founders. So I want them to be agency founders. Now I have all my agency founders tagged, let's say. The type are agency founders. And now you can create a new view if you want, so that you can have all your agency founders. And so we're going to go with, let's say, this thing, create a view. And then I'm going to say, oh, filter is type because it's the name of the field, and type is agency founder. And now we're going to click on save. And so now we have our agency founders list. And if I like remove Josh from being an agency founder, you see, he gets removed. He gets removed automatically. And so this is how you can create different types of lists and categorize people along the way. And so this is the same concept for people, for companies, for deals. And if you want to customize the display, let's say agency founders, actually what you care about the most for agency founders is the location. And so here you can just move the location all the way to the top, and the location will be first. You can like just say, okay, the location for my agency founders is like super important. So you're going to save this. And so now if I go to follow up, we can see that the columns, they are different from the columns in agency founder. So what I'm trying to say here is that you can have different views for different purposes. And so depending on how your business is structured, this is very interesting to do. And so once you know that, every single time you need to do something custom, you will go to your settings, you will go to records, and if you want to create custom fields for people or for companies or for deals, you will do it from there. So if I go again in the people section and I click on add fields, you can have many different types of custom fields that you can play with. And by the way, a quick question we have sometime is that, is it possible to connect multiple emails to one contact? The answer is yes. For example, Oli here, let's say he has a secondary email. I just click here on email and I say oli@senja.com, and we can see you can have multiple emails or like phone numbers connected to your lead. And so in terms of data architecture, what you will notice on this email field is that there's a little emoji here that says unique identifier. So if I click on the settings of this field, you're going to see here it says use as a unique identifier, meaning that if someone has the exact same email address like this contact, it will be deduplicated, meaning the contacts will merge automatically. You avoid duplicates. And so every type of field you have can be turned into a unique identifier, meaning you can merge contacts and prevent duplicates super easily. By default, we are doing it already great for you, But if you want, I don't know, you're 100% sure that you will never have someone with the same first name and the same last name, you can just go to name and turn this on and put unique identifier, for example, so that if someone has the same full name, it will get blocked and it will merge the contacts together. So if we summarize, the people section is where all the contacts that you are adding with the Chrome extension that will get pushed from your website form submissions, positive replies from cold emailing, everything like that will go into the individuals here automatically. Because of the enrichment of the CRM, it will create the companies and attach the two together. And from there, like manually or automatically using AI, like deals will be created and move automatically in the pipeline. And so that is pretty much the simple setup that you want to have. And so now I'm going to show you how to create deals automatically and also how to create the tasks automatically so that you just focus on chatting with your contacts. So I know some of you will be dedicated and you will try to understand before automating. But I know some people, they will try to automate before trying to understand too much. It's a good thing. It's also a bad thing. So that's why here I'm going to show you how you can set up the CRM, set up the lists, set up the views, set up the custom fields, pipelines adapted to your business using AI straight away just by giving a small prompts, or if you don't like prompts, just by giving your website URL. The video that you will see is a shortcut, but it won't be straight away connected to the entire tutorial. So it's kind of like it's tiny thing into it. Also, what you need to know is that throughout the entire masterclass, during the entire course, I'm showing you things manually for the purpose of you getting it. But at every single time, you can ask Claude to set this up for you. But again, I think it's always better to first understand it before asking for automation. So for this use case, we're going to take the example of a real estate agency. I think that everyone knows what a real estate agent is. And so I think it's a perfect way to illustrate how it can customize the CRM to a specific business, a niche business. And so what I'm going to do here is I found this agency online. I'm going to copy the URL and I'm going to go back to Claude with it. And so now inside Claude Cowork, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the skill, which is designed for reorganization of a workspace, etc. And I'm going to ask like Claude to do the following. So organize the demo video Claude workspace for this website. Do so. Do the full CRM setup. And so that's it. Basically, if you have a website, great. Then you just copy your website's URL, you paste that into this kind of prompt, and from there, you just let the magic happens. And so this is something that is not instant like the other workflows that we've made so far. It's not something you want to make recurring because you don't want to change your CRM setup too much. But basically, here it's using the knowledge of different CRM consultants in one, and you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for it. Yes, you might still need some CRM guidance, either from the founders of the software or like external advisors. But trust me, it's much better than if you were doing it yourself. So let's see how it goes in a couple of minutes. So we can see here that that Claude is basically designing it for this LA real estate agency. And so here it's asking me to rename the deal section. So I would go with transaction, which is recommended. Full setup as planned. Basically, it made a full review, and this is everything that it proposed. So basically, custom fields that are specific to the real estate industry, which are buyer, seller, investor, renter, referral partner, the source, which can be different, the price band. For transaction, it's considering listing, seller, buyer, both. And the neighborhood specific to the LA area with Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, etc. So pretty awesome. And now it's just doing its thing and it's customizing the CRM for that. So let's see each other once it's done. All right, so it's finished. I also asked Claude to create some dummy leads so that we can see that together. So this is what Claude did. So again, like the leads you see, it's just examples. It's not like real leads. But basically in terms of organization, you see it organized the people depending if it's quiet, buyers, sellers. So everything is pre-filtered. So if I click, like directly I have the buyers, directly I have the sellers, and all the views have been organized by Claude, the CRM setup. So you see here, like this didn't exist. The source, like typically what works in that kind of like setup for real estate agency. It renamed deals into transactions, which is more linked to the reality of a real estate agent, I suppose. From there, the pipeline is very simple but very effective, because most people, they have a tendency to like create things too complicated, and Claude knows that, and so that's why it is how you see it right at the moment. And so yeah, you can see like, oh, the deals that are at risk. We can see, oh, like the ones who are closing soon. All this type of things, has been set up by the CRM, and even more things that I cannot even show you at the moment because it will take just too much time in this video. All right, so right now, if I go to all deals, we just have one deal in the pipeline, and we had to manually decide in which pipeline stage it should have gone. Obviously, this is not something we want to do. We don't want to create the deals too much manually, only when we need to. And the good thing here is that we can create the deals automatically. And so the good thing here is that it will analyze all the email and LinkedIn conversations with those people. And so when it will create a deal, it will also go in the right pipeline stage. So let's set this up together. So for this, we're going to use Claude. So here I'm going to go with slash and I will type breakcold so we can use the breakcold skill I told you to install at the beginning of this video. And then we're going to do a simple task first. You want to do a small batch first to see if it works. And then you're going to turn this into a routine so that it gets done every single day by the AI. So first we're going to go with something like, for every new contacts in the people section created in the last 24 hours, create the deal, and when applicable, attach the company related to the person in the deal as well. And then we're going to say, when you create the deal, determine from the conversations in which pipeline stage it should go to. For the source of the deal, you can put unknown. I put it later. So we're just going to do that. And we're going to say, do a small batch of 5 people. And so right now, I just asked Claude to do the small batch. What I forgot to say is that you need to do this in Claude Cowork because it's very easy if you use Claude Cowork instead of regular Claude or Claude Code. And so this is the best way to do it. And so in my case, I have multiple workspaces. So I would just select the ones that we're using for this video, which is onboarding. And so you see here, like I totally forgot that we don't have a source as unknown when it comes to the options for source of a deal. And by itself, and this is the point of Claude Cowork, it will understand by itself when something is missing or not existing. And so here it clearly say that it will create an unknown option, which is great. So we don't have to think about it. So I'm jumping here, but in my case, it's already been about 3 to 4 minutes. So it's normal if it takes a bit of time, don't worry. And what is important for this workflow to work properly is that the name of your deal stages should be very clear. So in our case, it's simple because I use the default pipeline template we gave you. And so it is easy for an AI to understand meeting booked, meeting done. But if you are using acronyms for your pipeline stages, you might run into problems. So either the AI will ask you to precise, or you need to precise to the AI what your acronyms pipeline stages mean. But the best way is always to have clear pipeline stage names. Okay, so right now we just created the deals and now it's also adding custom activity so that you know that it's the AI that created the deal and not yourself or someone else in your team. Okay, so all the deals are created. Let's check in Breakcold. So with my recording software, I saw that it took about 5-6 minutes to do the entire workflow. So right now in deals, we see that it has been created automatically. Here, there's no companies because there was no company automatically created for those records. So it's normal. And here we can see that the pipeline stage have been automatically assigned and that it respected everything. And so for example, Josh is the person we added at the beginning of the video, if you remember. And if we are opening the deal related to Josh, it's in target identifier because obviously we never talked to him. And if we go here as the two activity fields, we can see we have like custom activities that the AI created. And we know it's the AI because it's a Breakcold CRM auto deals deal created. And so that's how you can know in the activities as well when it's AI or if it's a human action. And so now that we have this and that it's fully set up and that it's creating deals automatically depending on the new contacts and the conversations, moving the deals automatically in the right direction, what we want to have now is to have it done every single day when there are new contacts in the CRM. So let's go back to Claude. All right, so right now I am inside the same Claude cowork chat that we left. So you see, just finished. And we are happy with what the AI produced. So what I'm gonna do here is two things. First, I'm gonna say good. And second, I will say turn this into a scheduled task routine. I want you to check to do this every single day at 9 a.m. And so the goal with this is that every single day at 9 a.m., Claude will check all the contacts created in the last 24 hours. And this time it will not create 5 deals. It will create as many deals as needed depending on how many new contacts arrived in the CRM. So we're going to click on press and let's see how it goes. Normally it should be pretty easy. It will become a routine. So now it's pretty much finished. It tells me to schedule. So I'm gonna click on schedule and that's done. It's been less than a minute since we started this. And so now if I go in Claude Cowork, you have this schedule section here. You can see that now we have this daily new contacts deal. And so that's it. That's set up. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed. And so now if I go back to the conversation we just made where we asked the routine, we're just going to ask Claude to then create the deals for all the 20 also contacts that were left because we just created 5 deals. Now we know it's working, it's scheduled, but we still want to have all the deals. So we're just going to ask now create the deals for the remaining contacts just this time. All right, so now as you can see, it's starting to work on the next lead. So let's stop the video and find each other once it's finished. All right, so all the deals have been created and this is how it looks like. So we've done nothing to do that. And every single day now it will create the deals depending on the new contacts and put it straight away to the relevant place depending on what happens with those conversations. The only thing you have to do here is to put the deal value. But you can also automate it, meaning that you can tell Claude to maybe have a default value. You can even do it manually and have a default value if you know your offer. So you see here, you have default value templates right there. But you can also do this. We will talk about this more when we're going to talk about the CRM formulas. So right now, I'm just going to leave it be so we can automate it a bit later. So the deals are created automatically. They are put in the right pipeline stage automatically. But something we haven't done is that if something is happening after the deal is created, right now, it will not move automatically in the pipeline stages. So we need to give another scheduled task for this to be automated. You don't want to create like a big agent. We want to have maximum 3 to 4 agents that do a very precise task, but very good. So now that we have all those deals that have been created automatically, we now want to automate the task creation so that we basically do nothing. We go in Breakcold, we are told what we need to do, and we just execute. We are put in the relevant email thread, LinkedIn thread, etc. So if I go, for example, to the inbox, I just want to show you how we can make this work. So I'm going to actually create a lead that is coming from WhatsApp, so that you really get the power of the multi-channel task here once it will be automated. Then I just made sure that I have deals with the people from Telegram, WhatsApp. And what we're going to do now is to automate the tasks. Because by default, if you want to know, like when you go inside the inbox, you have these sections here that is called records only. And so right there, you can filter your entire LinkedIn or like multi-channel inbox actually, because you see you have also WhatsApp, Telegram, email. Like I said, it's still syncing, which is a pain here, but I need to go fast. And so essentially here, if I click right there, I can create a task. I can say, okay, follow up BAS. I can set the date for today or tomorrow actually, and then I can actually create. But it's something a bit redundant. You don't want to do that every time. Then if I go to the task, oh, perfect, I can just click here. It takes me to the LinkedIn Convo, but I still need to create a task every single time. When I mark it as done, I need to recreate a task. So this is not something like super great. And so let's see how we can automate this. So again, you're going to head over to Claude Cowork, and here you go with a new task. And so inside the new task, we're going to make again the slash so that it's using the breakcold skill. And we're going to go with something like, for all my conversations related to a deal, create a task linked to the conversation if it has been more than 3 days that the last interaction occurred. And just for me, because I have multiple workspaces, I will say do it for the onboarding workspace. So you don't have to do this one, it's just for me. Only do a small batch first for 5 tasks to test. And so again, same mentality here, guys. What we want to do is to do a very small like batch so that we can validate if it works as we expect. And from there, we want to turn that into a routine. And so the cool thing about this task creation is that beyond just creating the task, the cool thing about this is that the name of the task will also be relevant to the conversations, to the topic. So it's a bit more intelligent than just to analyze and do it. It actually also customize everything when it comes to creating the task. When it comes to the owner of the task, so right now we just have one person in the workspace. But if you have multiple workspace members and you are working as a team, by default, it will create the task and assign it to yourself. But if you have multiple workspace members, you can precise that you want the tasks to be assigned to team member A or team member B. So right now it already identified people where the conditions are fulfilled. All right, it's done. Let's go to Breakcold. So now in Breakcold, we can see that the tasks have been created. We can see we have the counter, 5 to do today because it's been more than 3 days for a long time. So it needs to be done today. And you see here, follow-up, platform feedback, follow-up, WhatsApp thread, follow-up, trial, startup blocker, follow-up, trial check-in, follow-up, trial feedback. And so if I click on the first task, it takes me to Telegram. If I go to the next task using my keyboard, so right arrow, it takes me to WhatsApp. If I go to the next task, it takes me to LinkedIn. And if I had the email already synced, which is still syncing because I'm going too fast for this video, it will maybe take me to an email task. And this is where Breakcold is that powerful because you can go from one channel to the other like super rapidly and just chat with your leads like a machine. And so the goal is that once you have this, it's game over because the tasks are automatically created and and they will recreate themselves if the last interaction is more than, let's say, 3 days in our example. The deals are automatically created and are moving automatically. And so now your only job is to go there and just execute, and you will get results. It's simple as that, because everything else that we kind of set up, it's automated automatically already. So now you know the drill. We need to turn that into a routine inside Claude. So this is exactly what we're going to do. The second thing we will do is that technically, if we reply to those people, the deal will not be updated automatically. So I don't know, like, let's say, for example, at some point, I reply to Tazio, and Tazio, like, he's booking a call with me, and like it it moved automatically the deal when it created the deal. But what about afterwards? So meaning when you're running convos and people are booking meetings and they're telling you and you're thanking them to become a customer, how the CRM will move the deals. So we'll have to create an agent that every day at the end of the day, this time not the beginning of the day, will check the conversations that happen and will move the deals accordingly. So let's set this up. It's very fast. All right, so first, if we go back to our Claude Cowork conversation, we can first go with like turn this into a scheduled task um, routine. Do it every day at 9 a.m. Like maybe you're starting your day earlier, so then you go with 6 a.m., 7 a.m., but that's pretty much about it. So here we're doing the same technique that we did before, and it will turn this routine, this workflow, into a repeat process. All right, so it's already finished. So I'm just gonna click on schedule here, and now it's done. So I can now tell him continue to make the workflow this time for all the remaining tasks to be created. And so that way it will create all the tasks for the others. And after that, that one-time task, it will run every day. So the same that we've done for the deals. And so now it's finished. So it created the task for all the other people. And now we're going to create a new workflow so that it can check at the end of the day all the conversations and potential meetings and other stuff that happen with a contact, so that it moves the deals accordingly automatically. So we're going to go with something like every day at 6 p.m., check all the deals and decide if they should be moved in the pipeline depending on the activities of its related contacts. Example, conversations, meetings, etc. Make a schedule routine out of it. And so here we will not test it because it's something pretty basic. So we don't need to test that on a small batch. If you want to make sure, you can test it on a small batch first. And so here, because I'm doing the video pretty rapidly, there's not something like significant that will change for someone. And so that's why I'm making it that way. So here, we're just gonna click on run. And so right here, I just selected the right workspace, and it's asking me if I want a daily recap of that email. So it also can be good so that you kind of have like your assistant telling you what happened. So here I would go with no, but I'm sure some of you guys would be interested to have a recap of what is happening every single day. So here I will go with no recap. If you want to edit a scheduled task routine, you can do it from the conversation itself. So instead of doing the edit button that was a bit scary, you can just go to Claude Cowork, you create a new task, and then you can ask, can you modify my routine about XYZ? I want now that you also do this, etc. But again, like, don't try to put all your routines into one. The ideal sweet spot is to have 3 to 4, so that each routine is very good at 1 or 2 things and not like at 20 things at once. And so now we can schedule it. So I just click on schedule, and this is done. So it will run every day at 6 p.m. So it's perfect. So that's pretty much about it on how you can automate this. All right, so now we have set up the CRM, automated the CRM on the most important things, And so technically right now you are already in the top 1% of CRM users in the world, because like sales teams are losing so much time on all the manual data entry like this. And so if we think in terms of like Pareto principle 80/20, you already won. But now I'm going to show you even more things. So the first thing you want to do is to focus on leads that answered a form on your website or another form. So a software that I really like personally is Tally Forms. I think it's much better than Google Forms, than Typeform or whatever. You can also embed this in your website. There's a free version that is extremely generous. So I'm going to show you through Tally how you can add people to the CRM automatically when they submit a form. So here you're going to go to settings and you're going to go to integrations. And inside integrations, we have Tally. But what I'm about to show you, it's not just working for Tally as a form software. It's working with any famous form softwares out there, so don't worry. So here I'm just going to go with Tally and I'm going to click on install. And right there, it's basically putting me the name. And in object type, we're going to select people, because people who are submitting a form, like filling a form on your website or booking a call, whatever, like they are an individuals. They're not a company, but we will still create the company automatically. I'm going to show you. So when it comes to the mapping mode, you have smart AI and manual mapping. So smart AI is, if you don't want to think, you let the AI figure out what the data will be ingested, and it will map all the data that it sees to the relevant fields automatically. Here, for the example, I would go with manual mapping so that you really understand how it works. But if you're lazy, you can just go with smart AI. So here I'm going to click on next. And here it gives me like this URL. We call it a webhook URL. Don't think about the terminology. It's not complicated. It's like super easy. So now let's go to Tally. So right now I am inside Tally and I went to a form that I made a long time ago. And as you can see, I had lots of submissions. And so for a type of lead magnet or things like this, you obviously want them to go in the CRM. If we go back to the map I was talking about in the beginning. And so here we're going to push them automatically. So then if a new person filled the form, it will go to the CRM. So this form was very basic because it just asked the email address. Obviously, in your type, you will have much more advanced forms. So it will be different. So here I will go to integrations and I will go to webhooks. And so webhooks, this thing, it exists in every type of softwares. So lead generation softwares, form softwares. So every time there's a webhook, you can integrate Breakcold with it without Zapier, without things that are complicated. So here I'm just gonna paste the webhook URL that Breakcold generated, and I'm gonna click on connect. That's it, it's already installed. And now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna like send some test events. So here I'm gonna click send test events. Now, boom, it has been sent to Breakcold. And now if I go back to Breakcold, so here we can see when the person filled the form, we can have the email of the person who filled the form. So we have a bunch of data. Automatically, by default, Breakcold map the right data. So you can see here that it mapped the relevant email address. Like I told you before, like in my form, there was just an email address. So it was actually a bad move. Retrospectively, it was an old form, because the thing you want to do is to have at least the email address, phone number, full name, and ideally the LinkedIn URL, because if we have the LinkedIn URL, like Breakcold is able to enrich automatically the company and a lot more data. And this email is just a Gmail. So it's actually not great. So what we're going to do is something special here. So bear with me. So here I'm going to click on, we're just going to map the email, and I'm going to click on configure and activate. And here you have enable AI condition. And remember what I said before is, oh, it sucks because it's just a gmail.com address. So actually, we're not interested in Gmail addresses, because in our case, for example, it means that the person doesn't give a fuck, or they don't have a proper business. And so we don't want when someone is filling a form to go in the CRM straight away if they have a Gmail. So here I'm going to enable AI condition, and I'm going to say we don't want people with a basic Gmail or Outlook email. We only want proper work business email addresses with a real domain. I mean, not with a real domain, with a domain um, as email address. And so now we can click on Run Preview. And you see here, it's evaluating if it will be a fit. And you see here, skip. Like the email address anton@gmail.com is basically a Gmail address, which does not meet the condition of requiring a proper work business email address. Perfect. So here, I'm going to click on confirm and activate. And the cool thing about this is that it doesn't ingest bad leads with Gmail addresses, but also the cool thing is that if you ingest only work email addresses, we have the domain URL in the email address, so we can also create the company and do some enrichment and sometimes finding back the LinkedIn URL. So this is just an example, guys, but I hope you get it. So here I'm going to click on confirm and activate, and that's it. Now every single time someone is filling the form we talked about, it will go in the CRM automatically. And so for each forms that you have to just redo this process over and over again. So with that being said, now let me show you how to push leads that are positive replies from cold emailing, for example. I think it's one of the biggest questions I get on Breakcold is how I can push positive replies from Lemlist, from Instantly, from Smart Lead, from HeyReach, from GoGberry, and all those softwares automatically to Breakcold. And so here I'm going to show you how to do it, to push positive replies from a lead generation tool by using Smart Lead in this example. All right, so here we're going to use Smart Lead. But again, I want to emphasize that the process is the same in the other tools because they all have a webhook feature. And so you just need to find where it is. So here I'm going to go with Smart Lead. I'm going to click on install. Then I'm going to go with the object type person because it's individuals that are replying to us that we want to push to the CRM. Again, I will keep manual mapping. You can go with Smart AI if you're super lazy. Here I'm going with like manual mapping because I want to show you exactly how it is. Here I'm going to go with next. I'm going to copy the URL, and now I'm going to go to Smart Lead. Inside Smart Lead, when you are inside a campaign, you have this section here, campaign settings. You can click here, then you go to webhooks, then you click on add webhook. You're going to type Breakcold campaign, or you can type the name of the campaign. Here I'm going to paste the URL. And here is the same in all those lead generation softwares, is basically when there's a positive reply, so someone is interested, boom, it goes to Breakcold. So here you go with like when the lead category is updated, whether it's manually or automatically in your lead generation software, you have this. Then you go lead category is interested because you don't want it to work for other things probably. And here I'm just going to click on send tests to webhook. So boom, now it's in Breakcold. So let's go to Breakcold. And now if we back inside Breakcold, we can see that the data have been mapped automatically. And so right now, the only thing that is remaining is to map the other field. So because we haven't ticked Smart AI, it is not mapping like all of it automatically for us. But you see here, you can map the first name, last name, etc. But what I like to think is that you guys, if you do using Lemlists or other tools like this, you always have the LinkedIn URL of your prospect. And like I told you many times, is that automatically Breakcold enriches for free a lot of data, the company. So you don't necessarily need to map everything. You can just map the email and just the LinkedIn URL. And maybe something you want to map is to push the person into a specific pipeline stage. So for example, here we can select deals, then pipeline stage, because this is the name of the field related to our pipeline. Then you click pipeline stage here, and then you will click on configure and activate. You will skip the AI conditions here, and you just click on confirm and activate. And so if the value is not matching one of the pipeline stage name, you will have something like this, where you will have to choose the option basically to map the data. And so that would be how it works here. So if you have this, it's normal. You just need to click here on option and to map the relevant pipeline stage that you are interested in. And so that way you can say, oh, it's interested, but maybe in the CRM, interested for you, it's another name. For example, like conversation started or something. So here, this is where you will click to match it together so that it goes to the pipeline stage you want. And that's pretty much about it. All right, so we can now talk about CRM data enrichment. So something very cool about Breakcold is that, like I told you throughout all this video, we can enrich a lots of data points for free. And this is something very unique that is quite insane for CRM and built in. So how it works is that every time you have the LinkedIn URL of your prospect, we are able to collect a lots of informations. And so that way we can automatically create the company and enrich the company as well. So you can go to your settings, and if you go to enrichment, this is how it presents. And so we do enrichment for people, and we also do enrichment for companies. So by default, it's enabled because in most instances it is free. And also you can enrich in different scenarios. So I will let you read that. But essentially, if I go to people, you can see that here it says 0 tokens. We're going to talk about billing in a couple of minutes. But first, let me go into that. So metadata means all the data that you see right now. And so all those data, they can be enriched by Breakcold, and then you can map it to a person, to a company, to a deal. And so this is something unique that is extremely powerful. And so if we have at least the LinkedIn URL of the person, we can do this. And so from there, there's a whole system around that. So that's why by default, it's enabled to search the LinkedIn URL of the person. So if you have, let's say, the email address of someone, in some cases, it will try to find the LinkedIn URL of the person from the email address. And if it finds it, it will enrich everything. So it's quite magic when you think about it. Breakcold is also able to enrich your contacts with the valid B2B email address and also the phone numbers. And this time it is not free because it has a cost, but it's included in your plan. So what I mean is that in your plan, by default, you have 150,000 credits, tokens included in your plan. And so you can spend those tokens in different ways. And some of those ways are by enriching contacts. So you see here, you have work email, personal email, meaning Gmail, and then you have phone numbers. And so by default, it's disabled, but you can also enable that so that it tries to find the work email or the phone number automatically when there's a new contact. So if the data already exists, it will not try to enrich. If the data doesn't exist, it will try to enrich. And you see here, you are only charged if there's a successful enrichment. So you will not be charged if it tries and it doesn't work. And so the cool thing about this system, how it works in the background, is actually that we do waterfall email enrichment and waterfall phone enrichment. So in plain English, it means that we are trying to find the valid B2B email address and the valid B2B phone number by going through about 15 to 20 different providers who are all leading on the market. And so this is built in directly inside Breakcold. So you don't need to think about integrations and other softwares. You can just do it natively in the CRM straight away. So like I said, you can turn this on automatically, or otherwise, when you are inside an individual and you want their phone number, you can first bulk select the people, and then you see you have enrichment. So you can enrich records or like different records you select. So for example, you can do a filter and say, oh, all those people who are filtered, I want them to enrich the phone number. So that could be one way. Another way is that you just want to enrich manually. So you will, for example, open a contact, and right there, there's like an enrich button. So this is how it will work. The discussion we just had about email enrichment and phone enrichment using tokens is the perfect transition to talk about the billing of Breakcold and how it works. And I think it's very important to talk about it because I'm truly convinced that Breakcold has the best pricing out there. And I really want you to fully understand that the pricing of Breakcold is insane for the quality of the product you get and for what you can do with it. So I will do comparisons, explain to you the pricing, because again, I want to emphasize it's not just because it's my product, it's literally because we have built the best offer on the CRM market, and I want you to understand it. So if you go to usage and billing, and you click on view plans, you will see that the basic plan of Breakcold is $59 per month. And we call it the only plan because this is the only plan we have. We don't gate features in upper plans. We don't gate like extra features on the marketplace with like a lots of add-ons and a lots of softwares you have to pay. Everything is in this plan. The second thing is that instead of having the price to double for every seat you add, it's only $10 more per seat. So instead of being $118 per month for 2 seats, it's only $69 per seat, meaning that the bigger your team, the bigger the savings compared to traditional CRMs. Then you have 2 accounts included. So what it means is that you can connect an email is an account, a LinkedIn is an account, Telegram is an account. And so if you want to add more accounts, it's $10 more. And so by default, on this system, if you do the math, every single time, it's always about 20% to 60% cheaper than any other CRMs you will find out there. So for example, if you see right there, that would be the price of Breakcold for 5 seats. And most people in a team, they don't connect a LinkedIn for each team member or an email. So even with that, it will be still cheaper than pipedrive or Atio or HubSpot or Close for similar features because again, they gated the best features in the upper plan. And so you need to think that by default, it's much cheaper. So now let's talk about the token system because some of you guys, you are freaking out because you're not used to tokens-based pricing, but it's actually pretty easy. So if we go in the pricing of the tokens, this is how you can spend your tokens. First and foremost, you are not obliged to use tokens. So if you don't want to spend it, you don't spend it, but you can still leverage the CRM. Second thing is that you decide how to use your tokens. So if you just like enrichment, you just spend them on enrichment. If you want to record your calls, you just spend this on recording your calls. And pretty much this is how it works for the API and the utilization with Claude. Like again, like people are like, oh, but it's insane, like you making us pay to use Claude. But you need to understand that a CRM like Claude, when it's like fetching info from the CRM, is like making requests that are insanely big. And so this is not free. And again, and so you have 150,000 tokens included in your plan per month if you don't top up your tokens. And so what I like to say is that since we released this new version of Breakcold, there's only a handful of people that actually eaten all the tokens in 1 month. So essentially the ones who are eating the tokens are like proper teams who are actually talking to multiple people a day. And when I say multiple people a day, I mean in the hundreds. But most people tend to overestimate how much tokens they will use when actually they are not using that much because to be honest, they're not talking that much to the leads. And this is the reality. And our goal is to help you to talk more to your leads so you use more tokens. And so, on a final note, I properly challenge you to go out there and find a CRM that does what Breakcold does for the cost because you will simply not find it. And so, if you think that Breakcold is too expensive for you, you should go back to a Notion or Google Spreadsheet or a traditional CRM that maybe you will pay $15 a month, but where you will lose so much money because actually your time or your team's time will be lost about 20 to 60% into manual data entry. All right, so we're now going to talk about the CRM unified inbox of Breakcold and how you can leverage it. So by default, on your account, everything will be down like this. So you see here, it will be probably something like this. So you will have like email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Telegram, everything there. What you can do if you want is to reorganize everything just by drag and drop. So here I'm going to do it again. And so but this is not the most important thing, obviously. So the most important thing is to understand that inside the inbox, you can have different views and you can reorganize it to your liking. So you see here, inbox, this is the default view, meaning that if I go from people to inbox, I will arrive here on inbox. If you want something else to be the default view, you can click here and set as default view so that when you click on inbox in the menu, you arrive straight away to your LinkedIn DMs or WhatsApp DMs or whatever. That is the first thing. The second thing is that you can save views. So here you see you have a bunch of filters. By default on your inbox, I think you just see all the messages from the different socials, emails, etc. But you see also all the junk. So let me help you how to fix it. So how you're going to fix it is that you're going to click on clear. Me, I'm just going it over again. But you by default, how it is set up is that you just have inbox. So this is your default. And you have all the junk, all the conversations, all the people you don't care about. And what you want to do is here to select the filter and to make sure it's only people in the CRM. So linked to a record. And then you click on applied, meaning that now you will only see the conversations with people in the CRM. And then you're going to click on save. And there you go, you have all the conversations with only people in the CRM. Now, if I go to the LinkedIn inbox, here, how I set it up is me that I have all my LinkedIn conversations, regardless of if it's email or not. But if I click on records only, like some of the people here, you see, they disappear. And so it's a good way to use that. So if you want to think like this, you don't need to use filters. So this is all the basics and all the things you need to know, and that is pretty simple. So now what needs to be said is the concept of custom views. So if I click here, I can create a new view, and let's call it to follow up. I know we already automated the task and we automated a lot of things, but I know some of you people out there, maybe you don't think in terms of tasks, you just like to live in the inbox. So this is how I would do it. So here I'm going to go with this to follow up, and we're going to click on it. By default, we can see that there's no filters on this. This is because it's empty here. And so here you can ask AI to build the filters for you, and me, I will do it manually so you can really understand it. So here it's people we want to follow up. So meaning that if the last message date is more than, let's say, 4 days, we want to follow up. And then we click on apply. But you see, we still have a lot of junk. We have inbox emails, sent emails, like, and it's not necessarily linked to people in the CRM. So we're going to click on the filters again, and we're going to go with link to record, meaning it's people in the CRM. We're going to click on is checked. So now we have everything linked to the CRM, but we still have sent emails. So then I will go back there and I will click on lifecycle is inbox. And then boom, I have something filtered, ready to go, people I need to follow up, where the last interaction, the last message, whether it's me or the person, is more than 4 days. And then I'm going to click on save. And now there I have it. And when I go there, it's all the people I need to follow up across all the different channels, emails, LinkedIn, etc., WhatsApp, and then I can just go straight away and talk with them. And so you can apply this concept to many things. So depending on how you think, this is how you can do it. But to me, like the most important things, like I told you in the beginning, is to keep things very simple. You just want to follow up people. And so this is something you can do. And so if we take one more time our example, we can do something like this. So for example, we can say, and so let's try to push it even further. Let's say we just want people who are agency founders in the inbox. So we will go to the inbox, we will like create a new view, and we will call it agency founders. And then we're gonna go with this one. And for the filters, we're gonna go with like people, because it's obviously people where the filter is. The type, if you remember correctly, we created the type earlier, and is an agency founder. And now I have all my conversations with people who are an agency founder. And so, meaning people in the CRM that are meeting this criteria. So now if I go to the inbox, it's different. If I go to agency founder, it's different. So now you get the concept and how the inbox works, so you can design it for yourself. So now we're going to talk about meetings and how it works. So by default, you have all your meetings that are synced inside Breakcold. So here you will be in all meetings. And me personally, how I like to have it is to have the default view next 7 days. So how you can put something as default is to select another thing. So for example, last 7 days, you click on set as default. So mine is already set as default. That's why I don't have this here. But essentially, how it works inside Breakcold is that we sync with your calendar. So there's also a calendar view. And so we sync all your events, whether it's Google Meet, Zoom, Teams, etc. And so we are able to record the meeting in a video and also get the transcript. But there's also cool things you can do around it. So first, if we go into settings and we go to meetings, you can first select if you want to record all your meetings with leads, but also internal meetings with your teammates. By default, it's only set on external meetings. It also creates like records, like contacts from people taking a meeting with you if they're not in the CRM already. And then we have auto-generate insights. We're going to talk about it. And finally, you can decide if you want the outlook of the AI note taker to be not serious or serious. So it's up to you. And so what is pretty interesting is the insights templates, because right there, essentially before going to a meeting or after a meeting, you can get insights from the CRM about this meeting, and you can customize how those insights are extracted. So if I click on meeting brief, I can update the template right there. So I can update like the title, I can update what it does. And so you see the default template is very basic. It's basically explain if we had past conversations on email, LinkedIn or not, and what it was about. And so from there, you can just redesign it to extract informations the way you want, the way you think. And so now if I go back to the meetings and I go to meetings that has been done, for example, let's say the last 7 days, we're going to go to, let's say, oh, this meeting will be in French. Let's go to a meeting in English. So you see here, by default, I have like the transcript of the conversations. I have everything, the summary
Minutes
as
late, I
well.
was trying
And so
to
if I
check
click on insights, it will start to use our AI templates that so that it extract informations the way I prompt in the AI. So me, this the most important takeaway of the meeting. This is something I wrote, and then I wrote what I wanted to be extracted from the meeting, and you can do exactly the same. The other thing that you can do with the meetings, which I think is pretty cool, is that you can share the meeting. So if you click here, you can get the link of the meeting and send it to some people. And so the people will just arrive on this page. They will not see your insights, meaning that if you want to say, is this prospect a dick? They will not see that they are a dick, right? They will just see the summary, which is neutral, and they will see the transcript. So don't worry, they will not see your insight. And so once you know this, you know pretty much everything about meetings. And so if you're already using an AI note taker, you probably don't need it, because here it's built in the CRM. And also you will not need to do crazy automations and crazy gym workflows to sync it live in the CRM and also with the contact. Because if I go and open a contact, so if I open the contact of this meeting here, we can see that we had approximately 5 meetings. And all those meetings are synced right there in the activities of the prospect. So inside Breakcold, you have your dashboard. And so now that you almost finished onboarding, I'm going to delete this, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. And now we're back. And so this is pretty much the dashboard. So here I don't have a lot of data. I literally just set up the CRM with you. But essentially, this is where you will have like all your meetings, your like all the data. So you will have your breakdown by channel. You will have lots of data populating as time goes by. And this is where you can see all your tasks, latest replies, hot leads, the ones who need follow up. And so you don't need to think about it. It's very actionable. And the question we get sometimes is, okay, I love your dashboard. It's useful. I don't have to think too much. But the thing is, some people, they expect like proper sales reporting, whether it's for themselves or for the teams. And this is where this time it's better to use an AI, for example, like Claude, because here you will be able to pull out every single information you want in the CRM and build a visual report out of it, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. So you can watch this video to learn how to do it. Just gonna go with the skill, Breakcold CRM, and we're gonna ask, why am I winning deals builder reports? And so the cool thing about this Opus 4.8 is that it's running much faster than before. And so reports, there's lots of data. And so it's pretty cool to have this new model. The second thing is that you don't need to think about designing the reports. The second thing is that you don't need to think too much about all the details of building the report, because the skill is handling it all, because the skill is handling all because the skill is handling all of it for you. So here I just need to select the workspace where I want the agent to work. What time window should the report cover? So just for the sake of doing an example, we're just going to say 3 days. So in any workflow, the goal is to validate the use case fast with a small sample. And then from there, you can go with a much bigger window. Um, Usually when you're running a routine, like a recurring work, because sometimes it can take like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but sometimes it can also take an hour when there's so many messages and convos across different channels. And so that's why you want to test first a small thing, and then we're going to turn this into a routine on a much bigger window after. So we can see here that it already figured out all the type of deals that are won and more. So we can see that the model is pretty smart because it noticed that on some deals, there's no specific nodes. So it went directly through the LinkedIn, email, Telegram, WhatsApp convos to figure out the different signals and the sentiment of the people who closed the deal or the ones who didn't. Okay, so it seems like it's finished. All right, so we have our report. So let me open that into Google. So this is the report that has been generated about the last 3 days. Then we're going to turn that into a routine so that it works on a bigger context, so that it works on a bigger time window. But basically what it says is that 3 wins in 3 days, and they came from 3 different doors. So you see it has a little sense of humor as well. You closed 3 deals over the last 3 days, one each from referral, LinkedIn, and SEO. No single channel is carrying your wins. Your top of the funnel is. And so you see, I have a breakdown about everything. And obviously, there was not a lot of deals to analyze. Again, we just wanted to make sure that it was working across the different channels. And so now we're going to go back to Claude to turn that into much bigger time frame so that it analyzes pretty much everything and you have reports delivered to you. So once you are back in Claude, what you're going to do is that I'm going to close this and I'm going to say, can you turn that into a scheduled routine? So step one, and then I'm going to say to build the reports every 7 days. And that's it, pretty much. And so from there, what it's going to do is that it's going to start to pretty much build. And so as you can see, now it's starting to building a routine. It asks me if I want to save the file here every 7 days, or if I want it to be emailed to me, which is also good. So here I'm just going to go with save as a file here. What time window should each weekly run cover? Smart question. I didn't think about it. And so let's say that every 7 days we want to know what happened in the last 7 days. And yeah, let's go just with that. In terms of reports, so I can give you some tips. It really depends on your business. Some people, they have like very fast sales cycles. And so in that case, it can make sense to have like reports only on the last 7 days. But obviously, if you have like longer sales cycle, I would strongly suggest you to have this being generated every 30 days, every month, so that it just analyze the whole thing. What you can also do if you have different team members is to analyze the performance of maybe your VA or your sales reps. So it's also something you can do with this skill. And so that's it. Now the task has been and so that's it. We can see that the task has been scheduled successfully. The written report now runs every Friday at 9 a.m. All right, so now we're going to talk about how you can work with your team inside Breakcold. So what I'm going to do is that in the onboarding workspace that we set up together, I'm going to go to the settings. I will go to members and I will add a fake team member. So I'm going to add Matteo here. I'm going to click on, I'm going to put it as admin and I'm going to click on add. So now Matteo is in the workspace. And so from there, there's a bunch of things you can do when you have a team member or different team members. So first, if I just talk about roles and permissions, because I think it's extremely important, you have all the roles and permissions here. But what people care about and the type of questions they tend to ask most of the time is, can my teammates see all my messages on WhatsApp with my family? Can my teammates see all my email convos, all my LinkedIn convos, etc.? The thing is, in the accounts that you connect, you decide as the owner of the accounts, email accounts, LinkedIn accounts, etc., if you give the permissions to your teammates to view everything. So, for example, if I go to LinkedIn, in the LinkedIn account, I have share with team. And here I can say, okay, I want Matteo to see all the messages and reply to all the messages. Or if you don't want this to happen because maybe you're giving too much permissions here and you just want Matteo to access only the conversations with people in the CRM and only in the CRM. I'm saying that because for WhatsApp, I know it's very important. You're going to click on read records only and write records only. So write is if you want him to send messages on your behalf. If you just want to see it, it just like this, and that's it. And so then you can click on save, and that's how your teammates can access your DMs or your emails and run conversations on your behalf. And I know when you have a team, sometimes some of you, you have a virtual assistant, you have sales reps, and like they're doing work on behalf of the founder. And so that's how it works. So it's very important to give them the permissions to do so. And so once we have talked about this, there's lots of things you can do as a team. First, when it comes to the tasks, execution, and also the inbox in general. So if I go to a task, let's go to, I don't know, let's go to that guy, for example. So here, as a note, you can tag your team member between email threads, LinkedIn threads, WhatsApp threads, etc., and they will be notified via email and also within the application. So, for example, we can say, I think now this customer is rightly secured, but I will let you keep sending news to them personally. And so here I can do this and as notes. And now, like, and my teammate would see that through email and inside the application in the notifications bell. And so you can really work as a team here. It's the same in every section of the application. You can also work as a team pretty easily. So, for example, when you're creating a note, you can tag team members in a note. So pretty much everywhere in the software, you can work as a team. Same when you're creating tasks. So when if you need to create a task manually, and you can assign your team, the different team members. So that's how it works. Then a question that people ask sometime is, how can we make sure that sales rep A and sales rep B, they can just focus on the leads that are for them? So how can we do that as a team? And so on this, there's multiple answers really, because if you now understand the concept of views and how you can set this up, the best way is that you have all your contacts in people or all the deals. And what you can do in that is that you can make conditions. So, for example, if I am Matteo, let's say, and I want to see all the deals related to me, I can click on owner is Matteo, and then I will see all the deals related to Matteo, which is 0 here. So you see 0. But then once it's done, you can save this as a new view, and so that your teammates can focus very easily. So for example, if we do it with me, because right now I have deals attached to me, you know what, like actually let's do the Matteo example. So if I go here, I would change the owner, I would put Matteo, and by the way, I think it's extremely important at this stage to mention that the person creating a contact in the CRM, the person creating a deal is by default the owner of the contact. So in a normal sales team fashion, what is happening on a day-to-day basis is that you will have your sales reps or your virtual assistants go on LinkedIn, go on other platforms, creating the lead and adding leads contacts to the CRM. And so by default, those people will be assigned to them. So this is quite useful because you don't need to reassign people to other people. And so from there, here, I can now say, okay, actually, like show me all the deals where Matteo is the owner. And now you see it's all the deals related to Matteo, and I can go save as new, and I can go with like Matteo. So this is what teams do. It works pretty well, and you can just stick with a similar process. And you can see now you have the Matteo view right there. And if I were Matteo, I would just add this as my favorites, and then I can go straight away to my personal deals, the deals that are attached to me. And so that's pretty much how you can set that up as a team in different contexts. Something that I forgot is that if you are working with a team, you need to go right here, then profile settings, and make sure you add an avatar. I know it sounds very stupid, but when you're tagging team members and you have a team of 10, of 20 people, it's always great to see the actual face of the person, and it just makes the CRM much more beautiful. The same for your workspace, to add your company logo. I think by default we're getting it. But yeah, just a quick thing. So on Breakcold, we have quite a lot lead generation agencies that are pushing positive replies from outreach for the clients in the CRM or for themselves. And also some agencies, what they are doing, which is I think pretty smart, is that because clients, they don't know how to close deals really, they are doing a done with you offer, or done for you offer, where they're helping them to set up a CRM and teaching them how to close deals faster. And basically what they need to do is to have one workspace per client. And so Breakcold, when it comes to its pricing, it's very advantageous in terms of pricing because we don't charge per seat like a traditional CRM. And so when you think about the sync with email, LinkedIn, and other socials, it's like a killer. And so how you can work for your agency clients is that Breakcold has a workspace system. So for you, it's very easy to just create a new workspace. And every time you have a new client, it basically one workspace. And so in terms of cost, if you want to know for your agency, how it works is that for every new workspace, we charge $10 per month. And for every new connected accounts, we charge $10 per month. So the base plan is probably you will use the CRM for yourself. Essentially, from what I see with the customers we have, for every new client, it will cost you between $20 to $30 per month per client. So a new client is $20, $30 per month. depending on your setup. So that's pretty much what you can expect in terms of how it should be run. And so some agencies, they have questions sometimes on, yeah, but what if I want to connect 20 plus email accounts to Breakcold? And my answer is that you should have like a master inbox, and from that you funnel all the replies to the master inbox, and you only connect the master inbox to Breakcold. For LinkedIn accounts, it's not very much a problem that I see. So yeah, you just connect the LinkedIn account and that's it. But what you need to know as an agency founder, and also in general, I think I already mentioned it, is that it is very important that you invite the client, or at least at some point you have the client putting themselves the LinkedIn account, because you want the LinkedIn account to be connected in their own IP address, so that when you do interactions, or someone in your team in Asia or whatever, they do the interactions, it will be reputed made from the IP address of the client. What I can tell you also is to really coordinate yourself with the client, because Breakcold is like extremely safe. We know the LinkedIn automation software, but obviously, if you have the virtual assistant or someone doing the DMs at 10 a.m. and at the same time you have the agency clients replying to LinkedIn comments at 10 a.m., it just not logic. Even if you're not using a tool, you can get into problems. So that would be my tip for you. And if you are doing crazy shit for your agency clients, sorry for the language, and you are doing LinkedIn automations and goji berry for intent signals, and you're basically going hard with the profiles of your clients, I would strongly suggest you to have Sales Navigator, because it's just a good way to protect accounts. So if you have any questions about the agency model or whatever, you can just go in the support and ask us some questions. And for anything else related to roles and permissions, you can check the video parts about teams in general, because I think this will also be relevant for you. So make sure to check this out. All right, so now we're going to talk about custom objects and relations. I think this one is a bit advanced, and it only works for people in specific industries, such as manufacturing, or maybe people in real estate, but very advanced in real estate, that they really know how to leverage a CRM to its fullest, and that have very complex types of relationships. So if I take the example of manufacturing, or let's say the example of real estate, on the left, you have people, you have companies, you have deals. Easy. But what if you want something else? For example, let's say you are in real estate manufacturing, and it's very important for you to have as a record like the product you're selling or the property you're selling, because if I go to people, there is specific fields related to people that I can customize. Same for companies, same for deals. But maybe my property, my manufacturing product, it has lots of fields, and I need this to be in the CRM as a proper entity. And this is why you need custom objects in that case. And I'm going to show you how you can do it. So if we go to the settings and we go to records, you can create an object. So here we're going to call it property. And I'm going to go with, okay, let's go with something. Okay, we don't care. Let's go with fire as an emoji. So property, plural is properties. So we're going to go with this. I'm going to with another color, and I'm going to click on save. And so now if we go to back to like the CRM, we can see now that we have people, companies, deals, and properties. So here, if I click on create new property, I have nothing, which is normal because I don't have a lots of fields. So you will have to create all the fields that you care about for this property. And the thing that in this type of organization and CRM setup, people, they always like, okay, I have my contacts, like people I talk to. I have my properties, and my properties, they are attached to people, and they can also be in a deal. So that's why you need to create relationships. And so if I go to the settings and then I go to records and I go to properties. Here I can click on add fields, and can go with relation. And let's say I want my property to be able to be linked to a deal, because in my deal I have the people I talk to, but I also have the property. And my property, maybe a property can have multiple deals, because in one big building I can have many deals with many tenants, with many people. So I'm just doing an analogy here, but you get the idea. So here, in terms of relationship, we're going to call it like, actually we're going to call it deal. And here we want to say that, like, we want to say that one property can have many deals. And so this is the type of relationship we want, so you can decide. And so right there, in terms, what is interaction rollup? So interaction rollup means that all the children, all the activities of the children, they will go to the parents. And so this doesn't work, because here it's the reverse. The deal is the parents, the property is the children. But if the relation was like the property is the parent and the contacts are the children, we will tick direct link records, so that all the conversations will be funneled into the property. So here I'm just going to leave this off. And then I'm going to click on next. Now I'll say show in create form, and we're going to say create. And so now what happened is that we have a relationship that has been created between like my properties and the deals. So if I go to deals, if I go to all deals here and I go to display, now I have properties right there. And if I click on properties and I click on save, I can see here that I have properties. So now I can attach properties to my deals. And so we're going to do it by creating a property. So we're going to call it like LA building. And now if I go, oops, sorry. Now if I go to our deal, so I don't even remember, to be fair. Oh yeah, that was this one. So now if we go to this deal, like this is a deal with Archie, and we have the conversations with the person, Archie, and we know it's linked to the LA building property. And so this is how you can think about custom objects and relationships. All right, so this one is a bit aggressive and it will probably make the topic for a dedicated video, but you can also send messages and emails from Claude using Breakcold. You can either do it manually, but you can also do it automatically. However, I would strongly suggest you to not automate conversations, because the goal is more to automate everything else except running the convos, because you don't want the AI to do it. I think humans are much better. The only work should be just to talk with leads and automate everything else. However, I'm going to show you how you can do this with a quick example. So if we go to Claude Cowork, here what we can do is that I can say, prepare me a LinkedIn draft to follow up Myrto. And so just by doing that, it will find the relevant contact in the CRM, and it will start to prepare a follow-up draft for Myrto, considering the conversation we had in the past. So let's see. And so the thing that you can do technically is that for email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Telegram, you can automate the CRM. And so I think that if you guys want to do it, you have to do it in a very smart way, because frankly, most people, when they try to automate entirely conversations, they are doing it like idiots. So if we talk about workflows that you can do, typically what you could do is a routine that will automatically send a follow-up only when the people are in a specific sales pipeline stage. So for example, if they booked a call, automatically ping them on LinkedIn before a call. If they didn't reply to you after like the first manual follow-up, maybe you will automate the follow-up. So it's up to you to be creative with this. And again, I won't do a specific video in this masterclass. All right, so Claude just analyzed my conversation with Myrto, and it's basically asking me if the bug is actually fixed. And I didn't reply to her yet. So actually, I'm going to say, actually, it's not a bug, just something that we can't do due to our providers. So I'm just going to click on validate here, and want the Claude MCP nudge included or keep it focused on the bug. So we want to leave it out on the follow-up. And so now it will draft like a response. And as you can see, this is bad. So, hey, Mioto, circling back about the Boris enrichment thing. We dug into it and it turns out blah, 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 blah. So obviously it's not great, but the thing is that we just released those API endpoints for the MCP. So in plain English, it means that I'm recording the masterclass right now, and we just released this feature like literally 2 hours ago. I wanted to talk about during this video, but I think I will do a separate video dedicated on how you can automate it in a smart way and how you can send the messages. Also, by the time you're watching this video, we'll probably have a draft feature where it's better than automation, where actually when it will create the task that I showed you in the beginning of this video, it will also include a draft so that you can basically approve or reject so that you can go faster when it comes to your follow-ups if you want to keep control on following up with your prospects. So how we are using Breakcold is exactly how I taught you to use Breakcold in this video. Obviously, we are a SaaS, we are a software company, so there's some things that are changing here and there. But if I show you my tasks, it's the same process I taught you during the video. This task being created every day that me or the team are doing on my behalf, for example, or myself straight away, so that we're able to follow up about like 50 up to 100 plus people every single day to keep track of clients, prospects. And so, because we have multi hundreds of them, we need to be very heavy in terms of conversations if we want to take care about you, essentially. In terms of the deals, it's pretty similar to what I explained during this masterclass. Again, I want to emphasize that the simplest processes win. And so you don't need to build something like extremely complicated. And so, in terms of the deal value, so us, it's a bit different because it's a SaaS. We have monthly, quarterly subscriptions, etc. But the deal value is a condition of like the different. So we call it add-ons, even though it's not add-ons. It's just that how many seats they have, etc., etc. And it gets populated automatically. So depending on the type of plan, depending on the number of seats, the number of accounts, etc., those value gets calculated. And also we have some integrations with Stripe so that we have all the data when we are inside the deals to jump straight away into the Stripe billing for customer support and for other things. But other than that, like if I go in the inbox, like the inbox is what I showed you before. It was ours. Essentially, in terms of setup, we have views that are a bit more actionable. So the two follow-up view has been created for during this masterclass, but otherwise we use actually the follow-up leads and the follow-up clients. And so what is happening with those views is that they are a bit more actionable. So for example, here the follow-up clients, it's empty, which is great because it means the team or myself, like we got rid of all the conversations for the day. But basically the filters here is that automatically, if the deal has been won or we ask for a referral, meaning the person didn't unsubscribe yet, and that the last message date is more than 3 days, the conversations will go here and we can do the convos. Usually, how the team operates is mostly for the tasks, and there's either myself or someone else in the team that is running conversations on my behalf and just executing the task. But the thing is that for ongoing convos, the place to be is the inbox, is multi-channel, because it's not because you do a task that necessarily you should stop working, because people, they reply to your message, they reply to your email quickly, so you need to be on top of things. But the goal, again, like I said, is really to automate pipeline movement and the tasks so that your job is mainly just work there and do your convos in the task and elsewhere. Finally, another thing that we do using Claude is to generate a detailed sales reports to understand why we are losing deals. So if I go back a bit less, so here every time we winning deals, losing deals, etc. There's quick notes here because people they tell us the reason on why they cancel the plan or whatever. And so from there, if we cross the source and the reason they unsubscribe or subscribe or whatever, we are able to put our efforts more into one direction or the other, whether it's to improve the product or also to improve our sales efforts. All right, guys, so that's the end of this massive tutorial. I hope you liked it. Make sure to like, to comment it. If you need anything, again, you can book a one-on-one call with me so that I can help you set this up. I'm trying to free my time as much as possible from the day-to-day operations and have my team run this so that I can be fully available on customer success, which is our biggest priority. So make sure to book a call with me. And if you liked what you see, make sure to recommend Breakcold to other people. Like I told during the video, we also integrate with other AI platforms such as OpenClaw, ChatGPT, Hermes, Codex, etc. So me, I just prefer Claude because our customers they tend to use Claude, but otherwise you can do crazy stuff with it. So thank you very much for watching again. Talk to you soon. Bye.